Hello, and welcome to American in Yerevan. You are listening to 103.0 Radio Vana. We were just listening to I Want to Hold Your Hand by the Beatles, about which David Levithan said, you know the reason the Beatles made it so big? I Want to Hold Your Hand. First single, brilliant. Perhaps the most brilliant song ever written, because they nailed it. That's what everyone wants. Not 24/7 hot sex, not a marriage that lasts 100 years, not a Porsche, not $1 million crib. No, they want to hold your hand. They have such a feeling that they can't hide. Every single successful song of the past 50 years can be tracked back to I Want to Hold Your Hand. And every single successful love story has those unbearable and unbearably exciting moments of hand-holding. It's cool.
That is really cool. Good evening, dear listeners. Good evening, Steven.
Good evening, Nina.
So nice to see you after this weekend break.
Yeah, nice to see you too. It's good to be back in the studio. And it's good to be talking about hands today.
And hugs
hands
today.
And hugs, the two H's that we can't live without.
And today was also the Random Kindness Act Day.
The Random Act of Kindness Day.
So we'll talk about that as well.
And I hope that every day is a Random Act of Kindness Day.
Yeah,
really.
let it be. Let it be every day. Let it be another song by the Beatles.
But for now, let's listen to Hold My Hand, featuring Akon by Michael Jackson. And we'll be right back.
We got soul. They don't want us to see, but we already know.
You are still listening to Radio Vaughn 103.0. This is an evening program, American in Yerevan. My name is Stephen Oxner, and I'm sitting here with Ina MK. And we're here every Wednesday and Friday from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. for your listening English pleasure.
And ready to discuss all kinds of stuff.
So, give us a helping hand. And call us, because today we're talking about hands and hugs, two things that we really need in life, and both things that can really help us if we have some kind of something that there isn't enough of in other parts of our lives. Then hugs can help us, and if we don't have enough of something else, then our hands can help us. I think we'd like to start off with some proverbs, correct?
Yeah, sure.
We have this game, we played it once.
Yeah.
And it's where Ina reads something in Russian, and I translate it directly to
literally.
English. Yeah, literally. Like, we have a phrase, let's return to our rams.
That is a funny one. I like that.
It's funny.
I just remembered one, really, about hands.
Okay,
when in Russia, when you try to do something and you did not manage to do it really good.
Okay.
They tell you, у тебя что, руки из попы растут?
What, are your hands growing from your bum?
Butt. Yeah.
What, your hands are growing from your butt or something?
Yeah. Like that.
That's
Or,
a good one.
рука руку моет, и обе белы бывают. Or just short, like, рука руку моет.
The hand washes the other. One hand washes the other, and
they both
become
white.
Deep meanings of proverbs on American in Yerevan with Ina MK.
And Steven Ox.
Okay, what's next?
С руками нигде не пропадешь.
С
руками нигде не пропадешь.
With your hands, you won't get lost anywhere.
Yeah, if you have hands.
Yeah.
Правая рука не знает, что делает левая.
We have that one.
Yeah,
the right hand doesn't know what the left is doing.
Yeah, so what does that mean, Steven?
Oh, that one's like, if we work in an office, for example, and our chef, our chief executive doesn't know what we do.
What's going on?
And then tries to help us, like give us some kind of orders or like tell us what we should be doing better, but they don't have any idea what we are doing anyway.
Yeah.
But you could say that about parents as well. If their teenager is out,
and they don't
smoking
even
cigarettes
know
and drinking beer, and they come home and they say, did you do your homework?
I see now. Great examples. So the next one. Ему палец в рот не клади.
Don't put your finger in his mouth. That's a good one. I'm
wondering if our English-speaking listeners are like, what?
What
does that
is
mean?
going on? That's like he'll bite it off, right? That's what
Yeah.
it means.
Yeah, it's like
he's don't trust that guy.
Yeah, don't trust that guy.
Don't
because
put your finger.
He's not
in
as
his
kind
mouth.
as you think he is. Yeah. Let's see what we have. Oh, this one. Палец о палец не ударит.
The finger doesn't hit the finger.
Yeah.
The finger.
It's like whenever somebody's lazy or not doing anything,
Yeah.
they say, "Why don't you just hit your finger to your finger?"
Come on.
Yeah, because you're doing nothing.
We have something like that. It's like you're twiddling your thumbs. I'm showing you right now, and you can look.
Yeah, it's
If
kind
you
of.
watch us on
like,
on radiovan.fm,
if you're
we're
watching
waving and twiddling our thumbs to
Sign
you
Language
today.
by Steven Oxner. Okay, the other one. Не будет скуки, если заняты руки.
Oh, that one is. You won't get bored if your hands are busy, but really, I think there's a phrase: "The devil makes work for idle hands," which has
Oh.
a different meaning, I think, which is like people who don't have anything to do are often the ones who are driven to temptation.
Yeah, that's somewhat different.
Yeah, it's a little bit different.
Ленивые руки не родня умной голове. Lazy
The
hand.
lazy hand is doesn't know the smart head.
Smart head. Smart head. That sounds awful.
The lazy hand just doesn't know the smart head.
Yeah.
Isn't familiar. The lazy hand is not familiar with the smart head.
Yeah. It's not even related to smart. Okay, на все руки мастера. You know this one.
The master on all hands. The
Yeah.
old master on all hands.
Oh, I think there is an English version for this one.
Okay.
В одну руку всего не загребешь.
Yeah. You can't. It's like you can't grab everything into one hand, but we don't have. We have that one about baskets.
Baskets.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Meaning, like don't put every part of. Don't hope that you'll get everything out of one
At
thing.
once. Yeah.
Oh, at once.
This is a meaning
I
of...
thought it was like kind of, like if I had a project that I was crazy about and I invested all of my money into it and I thought it was genius and it's gonna make me a living and I'm gonna get rich on
Oh.
it, but I
You
waste.
won't get it 100%.
Yeah, like
Yeah?
don't do that. Don't do that at all. Is what the
Yeah,
proverb
don't
says.
do it at all.
But it's funny because it seems like a lot of artists in their lives, they remember the time when they were starting and they think, oh, I'm so lucky to have had that support from that one person. When everyone else was telling me it's not going to work, give up, that one person trusted in me, or I trusted in myself, and then it worked out for them. So,
So you
you know,
never
Mother
know.
Culture is not always the wisest.
And not
one to
always the
listen to.
fairest.
And not always the fairest. That's
You know, I
true.
just remember another one with that same meaning. Like, don't grab two. You cannot grab two watermelons with one hand.
You cannot. Well, you know what they say, Ina. You can't grab two watermelons with one arm.
Oh yeah. How wise. And there is, I think this one sounds like like an advice or something. Чистые руки, холодная голова и горячее сердце.
Clean hands, warm heart. No, clean hands. What was about the head?
Cool head,
Cool head and warm,
warm
heart.
heart. It's like if you have clean hands, it means that you're honest. If you're honest in life, then
Oh,
Your
clean hands. My hands are clean.
Yeah.
I didn't do it. I'm not Macbeth.
умываю руки. I'm washing my
Right.
hands.
I'm washing my hands of that. Yeah, we have that one too. Okay,
And
and
I
one
have
more. Let's
couple
go
of-
one more.
Yeah, okay, and I'll have one in Armenian then, okay? Because we had it all.
Yeah, we
in
are in
Russian.
Armenia,
Yeah, we
after all.
are in Armenian.
sorry.
American in
Sorry.
Yerevan. Okay. Ամեն մարդու բախտ իր ձեռքին է, Steven, you know? So each person has their luck in their hands.
Yeah. Yeah, so luck is not about something that I get.
Yeah,
It's in my own hands.
It's
so my
in your
fate
own
is something
hands.
I decide.
exactly.
Yeah. Thank you, Ina. Do you have one more in Armenian that we can
Yeah,
listen to?
yeah, I have it. Oh, This is a good one. Աստուծո խնդրիր, բայց բահը ձեռքիցդ մի գցիր. So ask from God, but don't throw the...
Don't throw the shovel.
Yeah, from your hand.
Oh, okay. Don't ask from God, but don't throw the shovel from your hands. Wise words on American in Yerevan. Stick around. Right now we're going to listen to Hold My Hand. We have a theme of hands and hugs. More about hugs when we come back. Listening to Pink on American in Yerevan. You and your hand and me tonight.
And let's not
She
specify.
talks about hands so intensely. I never thought that the topic of hands could be so intense.
And so multi meaning.
Multi-meaninged.
Steven.
I love it when you translate things in your head. Okay, tell the joke. Ina has a joke for us, and then I have a joke for us.
Okay.
And they both have
first?
to do kind of with either the hands or the sayings. Yours has a phrase in it. Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay. There's
Because
this
we were
joke.
talking about ask God for help, but don't throw the shovel out of your hands.
Yeah, so work yourself.
Yeah.
So,
kind of work to where you're. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, work. Okay. This guy is drowning in the water.
This guy is drowning in the water. This is the beginning of a great joke.
And he starts yelling, God, please help
God,
me.
save me.
I believe
Please, Lord."
that you're gonna come and help me. I just believe in it with all my heart. And then all of a sudden, another man in a boat passes by and notices this
that he's
drowning guy.
yeah.
And he comes closer to him and says, "Oh, let me give you my hand.
Let me give you a hand.
Let
Yeah,
me give you a hand." And this guy says, No, I'm waiting for God.
That's a good one.
No, just get out of my way. Don't you see I'm talking to God?
That's good, yeah. Yeah, okay, so here's another one with talking to God. A man who wants to win the lottery asks God, God, please help me. I really want to win the lottery. I have all these plans that I could make come true, but I need money for them. So a week goes by and he doesn't win the lottery. And he goes back to God and he says, God, come on, help me. I'll do anything. I'll do anything. I'll stop, I'll stop swearing. I'll stop lying to people. I'll be the cleanest
kind.
person. Just help me win the lottery. The week goes by. He still doesn't win the lottery. He goes back to God and he says, God, come on, please help me. And he hears this voice. And God
And the
says,
sky cracks.
the sky opens up. God comes down to him and he says, okay, I'll help you. But please, just buy a lottery ticket.
Can't you at least buy this lottery?
So, ask God for help, but don't throw the shovel from your hands.
Yeah, so this is what often people do. Just they think that God is like a genie in a bottle or something.
Yeah. You just
making
rub it
wishes and sit and wait.
Because it really is easier. Well, it's actually, I don't know. This is a good question. Is it easier to wait for your dreams to come true? Or is it easier
to work on them?
Step by step, kind of have a process of...
I think if
working
you're a person
towards
who really loves drive,
yeah.
movement,
Mm-hmm.
then I think number 2 is the better option for this. To work and work and work on it and learn stuff in process. What do you think, Steven?
I think I can
Agree?
agree with you. Yeah, I can agree with you on that one.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
definitely true. Yeah. Okay.
And we posted a video today on our page.
Moving on to hugs.
Yeah.
Yes, moving on to hugs. That video was great.
Isn't it so touching?
Oh, very touching.
I love it.
Hugging videos are awesome.
So there's this guy
Okay.
who doesn't really get attention from a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Like affection or, empathy.
That's at the end, though. Don't ruin the end.
Okay.
right away.
We see...
So first we see a bear.
A bear.
There's a bear standing in the middle of the street.
Hugging everyone. And he gets so many smiles. He gets children running to him and giving him hugs, and other people just taking pictures with him and hugging him. And
Yeah, and it's great because it starts out, I don't know if this is actually how it started or if he did say something to the people. You can't really tell because there's music.
Yeah.
But he's standing there with his arms just wide open, which is like, it's so funny that that's a universal signal of I'm open, like give me a hug.
Yeah, everybody needs a hug.
This reminds me of another video that we saw today.
Yeah.
So there was
But we didn't finish it.
oh yeah, right.
It's like
Right. So everyone is hugging this big bear in the street, and it's really emotional. There's a poodle at one point, and he pets the poodle's head.
yeah.
And there are all of these guys, young, old, black, white. Everyone is hugging the bear, and then
And then you see that he takes off the bear head,
yeah,
and you see the actual guy, which
Yeah.
is inside.
yeah, because it's of course not an actual bear. It's
Yeah,
it's a person
of
inside of a
course.
bear costume.
And we see that this is a guy, like a handicap,
Ah, a
Guy.
developmentally disabled person.
disabled
Yes.
person, and then it's the video at the bottom of the video. It says everybody needs a hug.
Mm.
It's like, it was so touching because this guy was just trying to hide behind the bear outfit, the bear costume,
Yeah,
to get hugs that he missed.
that he missed because of his developmental
Disability.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
It's sad, but it's so touching, though.
Yeah. Well, it's cool that he can just put on the bear costume and go out in the street whenever he wants to. Maybe that opens him up emotionally too to hug the people he knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hugging is a really healthy thing. Can you tell us about some of the health benefits of hugging?
Oh, of
Ina?
course. So, there is a scientifical proved fact that we need 4 hugs a day for survival.
Just to stay alive, people.
Yeah.
Just to stay alive.
We need 8 hugs a day for maintenance.
8 for us to stay pretty healthy, more or less.
And we need 12 hugs a day for growth.
That's 1 and a 2, 12. 6 plus 6 people to grow in our lives.
So
We need
if
12
you're
of them?
sitting somewhere next to someone you can hug,
Yes.
just go ahead and do it right now.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter, people. If you're sitting in a taxi and you're sitting next to the taxi driver, give him a hug.
Help
If you're-
each
if
other
sitting at home-
survive.
And you're having an argument, give each other hugs.
And
Yes,
there
help
is
each other
there is
survive.
even more, Steven.
Okay, more
Hugging.
benefits.
Yeah, hugging increases levels of the love hormone.
There's a love hormone?
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
oxytocin.
Oxytocin.
This, in turn, may have beneficial effects on your heart, health, and more. One study found, for instance, that women had lower blood pressure following a brief episode of warm contact with their partner. A 20-second hug, along with 10 minutes of hand-holding, also reduces the harmful physical effect of stress, including its impact on your blood pressure and heart rate. Cool.
That all makes sense. Because even just watching that video, for example,
Yeah, how people were smiling.
and I get that feeling
positive
too. Didn't you get the
energy.
kind of like I felt like there was some kind of chemical change within me watching the video.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like good energy from the emotions you saw in those people.
Mm-hmm.
And and that also says that a 10-second hug a day can lead to biochemical and psychological reactions in your body that can significantly improve your health. According to one study, this includes lower risk of heart disease.
Oh.
Number 1.
One.
Number 2, stress reduction.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Number 3,
Number 3.
fight infections. Oh wow.
Oh. Hello. Uh-huh.
Number 4,
Number 4.
ease depression.
Ooh.
Number 5, boost your immune system.
Man.
Isn't that awesome?
That is awesome. So, this is the key. We could create like a whole... You know how everyone has like the next big thing with dieting or with yoga or
Meditating.
meditation? The next big thing is going to be hugging. And actually, did you know that there is a thing called cuddle therapy? Have you heard about this?
Yeah, that sounds so cute.
Okay, we'll talk
Can
about
we
cuddle
hear-
therapy when we come back, since you were so excited about it.
Yeah, I
But
want to
for-
hear more.
For now, we'll go to an advertisement, have a couple more songs, but stick around and give us a call. Tell us, and we have a question if you give us a call. We have a question for you, our callers, in order to win your favorite song.
Don't
here on
forget to
American
call
in Yerevan.
560901.
Yes, we're still here until 11 p.m. Call us. And we're back here in the studio at Radio Von on American in Yerevan talking about hands and hugs today.
And I have
Ina has something to tell us.
I have something. You know who Grishkovets is?
Ah,
A
yes.
solo actor.
Yeah, he
his
writes his
own
own stuff and then he
theater.
performs it a lot.
Yeah.
He's still, to this day, he's still writing his own stuff and performing it.
He has really interesting humor and really interesting perspective of everything he speaks about.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the things he said is that the most sad sport is a women's solo figure skating. No matter
It's women's solo figure
Yeah.
skating, okay?
no matter how much this young and beautiful woman skates on the ice, no matter how passionate she stretches out her hands, bends or stirs, still no one jumps up to hug her. So she's still alone.
like it's a big act of passion and emotion.
Yeah,
and
but
she's
all alone.
always looking for someone skating around, looking for someone who wants to come and give her a hug. There's no one who gets out there on the ice and
Yeah,
just goes up to
exactly.
hug her.
So
That's the saddest sport in the world.
yeah,
Ah,
it's an analogy of
that's good.
some people's lives, I think.
Really? And I think that this is the reason for cuddle therapy. This is a good
Yeah.
explanation for cuddle therapy because a lot of people skate through their lives, stretching
All
out their
alone.
arms, doing all of the tricks, trying to be open, trying to be human, trying to be themselves, as they say, just be yourself. Everything will work out.
Yeah,
And they
be
still don't
yourself.
get enough contact with
Yeah,
people.
they don't get emotions or energy from others, right?
Yeah, yeah. And so there's this thing that was developed by a few doctors, Dr. Matthew Hertenstein and Samantha Hess, who were in these like touch therapy centers who developed this thing called cuddle therapy. And it's where you can go
Just
and you can hire a therapist, they say, for a session of cuddling. And it's so weird because you get a hotel.
oh no, this sounds
You
weird.
agree on a price anywhere from $40 to $80 per session. Yeah. And
That's a lot.
you meet the person. There's like requirements for having washed your hair, having brushed your teeth that day.
Do not sting.
Yeah, and that there's no sexual contact. There's no touching of private parts. There's no nudity. And then you go and you sit on a bed together and you cuddle.
Just hugs.
Cuddle. And I think that this can be. I read an article about how this was. It was
sorry.
called costly cuddling.
Can you like order a group hug?
Oh,
Group
that's
cuddling.
That's a good question. I'll bet there are probably some like meetups somewhere, cuddling meetups,
or
Groups get
cuddling
together and
swingers?
cuddling swingers. Usually, I only cuddle with this therapist, but it's getting boring for me.
Can
So
we
I want to
just
do some swing cuddling. And that's the main question that was addressed in this article that I read: is where is that line? Can you have purely platonic touch? Is it possible to just for an hour or 2 hours, however long it is, just lay with a person and hold them without thinking, should we go farther?
Do you
Because I
get
think
like
that-
fined if you?
Well, you have a contract with the person, and if you break that contract, then the therapist has to go. But I think that this therapist that I was reading about had a feeling like she didn't understand what was going on with this man that she had as a client. If he was sexually harassing her, because he would have like his hand would graze her breast, and he would be, oh, that was a mistake. You know?
Oh, excuse me. Oops.
And that's the main question. Is it possible? I don't know. This is like the question, is it possible to have a purely platonic relationship between a man and a woman? A lot of people think no.
And a lot of people think yes.
That's true. A lot of people think yes. And those are probably people who do cuddle therapy.
Yeah. Steven.
This is interesting. So my brother and his wife, who have an awesome relationship, they're like this couple that met when they were juniors in high school, and they went through. My brother went to college. He went to Michigan State University for engineering, which is like the top for engineering in America. And he only lasted a year there because she wasn't there with him. He moved home to Colorado, and he had to be with her. So he finished his studies in Colorado. Everything was fine.
He was wife sick.
He wasn't a husband yet. They were together for 10 years before they got married.
Oh my.
So they're married
goodness.
now. But one of the, I think the
That's
keys,
long.
they say one of the keys to their relationship is that whenever they start having an argument, they start holding hands or cuddling. There has to be some kind of touch while they're arguing, because
so
it doesn't allow the argument to develop
cool.
the way it would if they weren't touching.
It's like they don't let this invisible wall be built between them
exactly.
during the argument.
Yeah, so it's like they have to...
That's a neat idea. I think we could propagate it probably.
Right,
somehow.
yeah. It could be like the cuddling therapy that you have within your relationships, in a way. Yeah.
Awesome. Stephen, have you noticed that in America you have the hugging, tradition, like hugging? And here it's more kissing?
Yes, this is something that I have a hard time with, actually.
You
Because
still
I'm a
do?
hugger. I'm an American. I like hugging. I just like hugging people. And I find myself hugging people unintentionally a lot. Like, with men, you like shake the hand. And if you're close to them, you kiss them on the cheek. But usually, if I'm close to a man, I'll take his hand and then I just go straight for the hug. It's kind of... I know now
You
that
can
there
do
are
the
some
shoulder
friends I
hug,
have,
like
hey, bro.
yeah, you bro hug.
A shoulder bump. But the other side of it is that I think in America, a lot of the time, you can hug someone when you first see them, But
Yeah.
then if you're sitting next to them for a long period of time, you're not going to, put their
Touch
arm on their
them or-
leg or
yeah.
put your arm around their shoulder.
Because they'll
as
think
often
you're
as you-
weird. Yeah.
As well, it would happen. I mean, I definitely have friends who I am openly touchy with. But here I see it a lot more often between men and between
That's
women
right.
as well, where there's lots of touching involved. Even though there's not a big hugging when I first see you culture here, there's a lot of kind of like cuddling. Like Armenia is a place of cuddling therapy already.
Yeah. So, Stephen, we promise you that from now on,
Yes.
Radio Van staff
Yes.
will be warned that you need
I need-
12
I
hugs
need
a
12
day
hugs a day, people.
to grow.
To keep growing.
To keep
I want to keep growing.
Please help the American in Yerevan. Come on, guys. Stop touching him. Just go ahead and hug him. Okay.
We're going to talk more about hands and more about hugs when we come back. But right now we're going to listen to Can't Take My Hands Off You by the Soul Tans.
Ooh.
Stick around. We're still here. And give us your calls. We would love to hear your stories about hands or hugs. And we also have a question for you if you do call.
560901. Call.
Listening to Whatever Happens by Michael Jackson.
Don't let go of my hand.
American in Yerevan. Just
Don't let go
of
of my
hand, no matter what
hand.
happens.
Da, 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 da.
Okay, since we don't have any callers today, I'm just going to ask you, Ina. This was a question I was asked when I was in elementary school. We had a guest over, and he was a Native American, and he spoke several Native American tongues that were considered dead, dead tongues. As well as, I think he spoke German and Spanish and Italian. And he said, what do you think is the most widely spoken language in the world? And we were sitting there thinking, I don't know, English, maybe Chinese.
Yeah, that's what I
So
thought.
You were thinking English?
English. Yeah.
Well, yeah, there's that-
Well,
there's
it's
that-
too banal, though.
That feeling about, because even in India now, it's the official language of the country is English. So there are more... technically more English speakers in India than in America now.
But I guess
But
this is
the
not
most
the
lately,
right
of course,
answer.
since we're talking about hands and hugs today, it's sign language. Sign language. Because sign language,
Yes, it's an
there are a few
international.
variations, yes, but if you can read English, but for instance can't speak with your mouth, you sign and you can have sign language with someone who's
Anywhere
from
in
a
the
different
world.
country. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's a really great thing.
That was a cool.
Yeah, cool question.
question.
Yeah, especially for elementary schoolers. Thinking,
Yeah.
Oh, what is it?
What
What is it?
is it?
Oh, it's sign language. And he taught us a few symbols, a few signs that we use at home. I forgot them, of course.
What's the likes?
That's one that we all know because almost everyone has Facebook. By the way, we have a Facebook page, American in Yerevan. If you are on Facebook, find us, like us, become our friend, and then
And follow us.
follow us. And you can write on our page. There aren't very many people that write on our page, but we accept not only praise but criticism with a kind heart.
Yeah, of course.
And we would
also
like to hear your opinions
share
about what
new
you'd like to hear about.
suggestions.
Yeah, suggestions for themes, songs. Like us. Like us.
Like us.
Give us the thumbs
Give
up.
us the
Hey,
thumb up
thumbs up.
sign
That reminds me
of Radio Van Music
Radio
Awards.
Van Music Awards.
That is gonna happen on 28th of February, pretty soon. Lots of singers, new, old, also bands are gonna get this desired thumb up.
Yes, because we don't
hand.
have a golden man standing
No,
on a platform. We have a thumbs up
thumb
as
up
our
hand.
Radio Van Music Award.
By the way, there will be like 14 artists who painted those hands.
Wow, so cool.
In each
So cool.
different ways.
It's going to be a great event. It's going to be televised as far as I know, yes?
Yeah.
It's televised and it will be on February 28th. So, keep listening to us and try to get there if you can. Because it's going to
Yeah.
be a good night.
Try to make it there.
Yes. This, when in planning the Radio Van Music Awards, a lot of what we talk about is Eurovision. And I know that you
Yeah.
were at Eurovision last year,
Yeah,
Nina,
I was
because
there.
You wrote the lyrics to one of the songs.
Yeah, to the song representing Armenia, but it was a great show.
Yeah?
It was like I don't know. It was like a show of everybody pretending to love everybody, but competing between each other really hard, like a really festive and peaceful war,
A festive and
musical
peaceful war. Whoa.
going on there. Yeah.
When I was in Latvia, in Riga, I saw a play, a theatrical performance called Eurovision that was staged by my friend Vidas, and he staged it in that exact way. It was a really fun, really peaceful war. So it started out, everyone sat in different sections of the house, and we were in the section of Russia, for example. And so,
so you were participating.
yeah, so it was like it was like a big
As
game.
an audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, it
cool.
was awesome.
Cool.
And the first way that we participated was they had this question like, well, we don't know if Russia is a part of Europe or not, but just to make you guys feel at home, we've brought for you, and they brought out this big platter of vodka, and they gave us each of us a shot of vodka, and we had black bread, rye bread to chase with. And then, so they had all of the songs, and there was
Just
a
to make
song
you whole.
representing a bunch of different, not all of course, all of the countries of Europe, but many of the countries of Europe, and they were all like these like social, governmental stereotypes or like famous stories from these countries, things that happened, and it was a lot about the stereotypical things that we see in countries.
Like Russian balalaika.
yeah, and like dancing with the
The
scarves
bears.
and stuff. Yeah. And in Poland, everyone was in like the sports suits, and they were banging these drums really hard, and they were all drunk, yelling, and so there was that section, and then there was the second half of the play where we started to vote. And before that, there was this rule where they drew a name out of a hat, which was a country, and that was the country that they were going to get the chance to declare war. And then the second name that was drawn out of a hat was us, Russia. And I think it was like Switzerland or something, decided to declare war on Russia. And since they declared war on Russia, they couldn't vote for us anymore. So Russia was automatically eliminated from the competition.
It was all making fun of Russia.
Yeah, it was a big making fun of Russia evening, which was it was ironic for a lot of different reasons. But at the very end, after all of these social stereotypes and all of this competition and all of this kind of like ugliness, but with fun. You know, it was a really fun show. The last song
Like a parody.
was Imagine. Yeah, it was a big parody. Was Imagine. You know, imagine
All the people.
And the actors made us all stand up in a big line, hold hands with everyone,
there
and
they
make
come.
we made like a big like line throughout the theater that ended in a giant spiral that was closing in on itself with everyone who was at the show. And then we all hugged
Wow.
each other at the very end of the song.
That's cute.
So that fits our theme today, as well as the theme of Radio Von Music Awards, which will be on February 28th. Don't miss it,
Yes, and
because
I
it's
would
our
like to
Eurovision.
speak about another theatrical performance that is going to happen in March.
Oh, okay. Here we
And
go.
I
Yes,
don't think
yes.
there is much hugging there because you cannot hug yourself, Steven. But for our
This is true.
listeners who are interested in listening to English version, but there is also a Russian version.
There are two versions, one in Russian, one in English.
Yes. Please do not miss those two performances, which are going to happen.
March 1st,
Yeah.
По-русски, Sentenции Pantelea Karmanova by Ivan Verbaev. And then on March 3rd, The Maxims of Peter Pockets, an American adaptation of the text by Ivan Verbaev,
performed by
Steven
Steven Oxner.
at the State Yerevan Puppet Theater, named after Tumanyan, which is on Sayat Nova 4, on the small stage. You can go on Facebook, and we'll put the event on our American in Yerevan page. Can we do that?
Yes, of
so
course.
that you can find it easily and find out all the information.
and
get tickets
next
and
Friday,
come. Yes, and next Friday.
if you are our caller,
Oh,
we'll have a
Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum,
surprise for you
dum-dum-dum-dum.
connected with those two plays.
I think they might
Right,
be free
Steven?
tickets. Yes.
So
Yes. So
just be careful and follow our page and our shows. We'll have a surprise for you.
keep listening to us, and keep listening to Radio Vaughn in general. Right now, we're going to listen to "Face the Shadow" by Genealogy. Stick around. We have more on hands. Oh, this is the one you wrote. "Face the Shadow" by Ina MK.
Oh, thank you.
Follow a dream, surrender the sorrow inside.
Don't do it.
Then give me 2 tickets to your show.
Okay,
This-
okay, I'll give them to you. I'll give them to you. Put the
in
gun
March.
down.
Okay.
Jeez.
Steven,
I'd like to do
it wasn't a real gun. It was just a
your
gun.
hand. It was your finger.
from my hand.
Oh, you
Oh,
tricked
these
me.
Americans, they're so
They're
naive.
so naive,
Yeah.
so gullible. I'd like to do something a little bit out of the ordinary. Can
Cool.
I?
I love that.
Yeah?
I love everything unique and out of ordinary. Go ahead.
I have a favorite poet,
Mm-hmm.
E.E. Cummings. Have you read any E.E. Cummings before?
Never.
Um,
Never before.
I am fascinated by this poet, and mostly the reason that I'm fascinated is because of one poem, Somewhere I Have Never Traveled Gladly Beyond. Can I read it for you?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. I'm
I'm
make
all
the music
ears.
a little bit lower so that everyone
Mhm.
can listen to the poem by E.E. Cummings. Somewhere I Have Never Traveled Gladly Beyond.
Read by
tr-
Steven Oxner.
Try to do my best here. Somewhere I have never traveled gladly beyond any experience. Your eyes have their silence. In your most frail gesture are things which enclose me, or which I cannot touch because they are too near. Your slightest look easily will enclose me, though I have closed myself as fingers. You open always, petal by petal, myself, as spring opens, touching skillfully, mysteriously, her first rose.
Wow.
Or if your wish be to close me, I and my life will shut very beautifully, suddenly, as when the heart of this flower imagines the snow carefully everywhere descending. Nothing which we are to perceive in this world equals the power of your intense fragility, whose texture compels me with the color of its countries, rendering death and forever with each breathing. I do not know what it is about you that closes and opens. Only something in me understands. The voice of your eyes is deeper than all roses. Nobody, not even the rain, has such small hands.
Oh, that is so
That's a
beautiful.
cool one about hands.
All about touching.
Yeah,
A lot of touching
Yeah.
there and hands. That is a
but touching on a non-physical level.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a. If I would describe that, if I was to describe this poem in one word, I'd say, two words: fragile tenderness,
Fragile tenderness.
something like this. Bravo.
Oh, thank you,
Bravo,
thank you,
Steven.
thank you. E. Cummings is the genius, not me.
You know, Stephen, we have this really well. Thank you, Stephen. First of all.
Yes, thank
And
you.
since our program is an exchange of cultures and experiences and tastes, would you allow me to read two pieces of a really popular poem that we all learn in schools by heart?
Yeah,
We just have to read it by heart.
Okay, great.
Learn it by heart because it's written by one of our most strongest poems, Barur Sevak, by the way, one of my favorite ones. And this poem is about mom's hands.
Mm.
Since it's, well, we don't have a lot of time, and we'll have another episode to speak about. So I'll just read two parts out of it,
Okay.
like the beginning and the ending.
Okay, great,
Okay.
great.
And then I'll try to translate it for you.
Ooh.
Այս ձեռքերը, մոր ձեռքերը, հինավուրց ու նոր ձեռքերը, ինչեր ասես ոչ են արել այս ձեռքերը, պսակվելիս ոնց են պարել այս ձեռքերը, ինչ նազանքով, երազանքով, անվերջ դատող, անվերջ բանող այս ձեռքերը, թող որ ճակած ու կոշտացած, բայց մեզ համար մետաքսի պես խաս ձեռքերը.
Ooh, thank you.
How did that sound to you?
Very cool.
The Armenian poem. Okay, so
So what does it
These
mean about your
hands.
these hands?
mom's hands, old and new hands.
Uh-huh.
There are so many things that these hands have done. These hands have danced during their wedding
Ooh.
with tenderness and humbleness, and well, the dancing described. Well, and then the whole poem describes all kinds of actions that a mom's hands do, like cooking and taking care.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end, the last episode goes, they judge you endlessly, they work endlessly, these hands, and even if they're rough, but for us, these hands, the most tender hands, like silk.
That's great. Thank you for translating it, and thank you for reading it in the original language.
It's like
'cause-
an Armenian mom's hands, working hands, even sometimes,
Yeah.
tired hands.
Right.
But still, for us, they're the
they're
most.
the hands of silk.
Yeah, they're the hands of silk.
Ugh. Thank you.
You're welcome, Stephen.
We still have a few more minutes. We're going to listen to If I Could Turn Back the Hands of Time, and then come back just to say farewell.
How
Time.
your heart
We cannot turn back hands of time tonight because it's already almost 11, and I would like to remind you that today was Random Act of Kindness Day, so you still have 1 hour to do something nice to people you know or even you don't know, Stephen. Like even hug to someone,
Yeah, or stop to talk to a homeless person.
or answer that email you've been avoiding,
Or let them have the parking space.
or give them the last piece of your favorite chocolate.
or wash somebody's car. Wait, no, don't do that. That may be dangerous.
Or wash the dishes.
Or wash the dishes.
Just anything that you think that will help people make a little bit more happy today or tomorrow or the day after, because it doesn't matter when it is, it's just every day.
Every day is a day when you can have you have a chance to make a random act of kindness.
And we hope that we made you feel the same way tonight by our talks and our interesting conversations, and we hope that they were interesting. And do not forget to like our page, call us next Friday because we have some surprises for you coming soon.